Okay, so now we are going to push our duotone color further, right? This would be what it looked like if I was to finish it off. I added some texture. Now I use that combined layer of the duotone color and I push it to 100% at normal mode. This is the best duotone color hard edge that I could create. So the next step is to try softening it if you want to push it further. Shaking it from duotone hard edge, which is pretty understandable, to soft edge. To see it in the professional examples, you can see that soft edge duotone in the Hulk here, on his shoulder, on his side, on his leg, on the Hulk here. And why do they do that? Because the Hulk is a green color. Green is a pretty dark value. Red Hulk has the same issue. And if you use only duotone hard edge on it, it looks like he's made of stone instead of flesh, right? Because some textures are softer than other textures. So where his title flag is made of stone here, duotone hard edge is appropriate because that looks like it has more planar lighting. But on his skin, it's soft edge, so it looks more organic, softer. So let's play that game. I'm going to take my combined layer and I'm going to duplicate it. Command J. And this is after on my combined duotone layer, I've played with my level adjustments. So for instance, I've taken my reds and I've pushed them where I want them. So maybe there. And I've played with my yellows. I'm still not totally sold on the yellow. Brighten it up just a little bit more into the territory of Naples yellow. Because I have a real problem with yellows that look like they're green. I don't like the kind of lime yellows. Okay, so these are my combined duotones. This is it at 100% normal mode. I duplicate that, and now I'm going to rename it soft edge duotone. So how do I change hard edge to soft edge? It's really, really simple. It's the only filter in Photoshop I want you to know. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur is simply taking focus away. So whenever your edges are contrasted, this will make transitional pixels around your edges that blend into what's around it. And you decide how much. So you can see that's hard edge duotone. I can soften it a little. I can soften it a lot. But what I want to be careful of is not to soften it so much that the color bleeds beyond my black line art. So if you have really thin lines, that can be difficult, right? Because I don't want this red color to spill into this green color. And if you soften it too much, that will happen. Like that. So you want to find like just the right place. And I think maybe around there, which radiates out about 6 pixels from each edge. So now if we look at it, what's the difference between this and that? Well, it's soft edge duotone versus hard edge duotone. And there might be some places where I don't like how it softens, even though this is a pretty mild softening. So for instance, it makes actually I kind of like what it does to the crown, but maybe I don't like how soft it makes the wing. So what I can do is I can erase it away because underneath it is the hard edge. So I can take an eraser at a low opacity with a soft edge large eraser, and I can just gently erase back some of that hard edge, especially where I might have had multiple shapes affecting it. So on these jewels, just a little bit. Not all the way. not to that level, but just a little bit. And it depends. You might decide you like what soft edge does. You might decide you don't want to use soft edge anywhere. It's not a requirement. It's an opportunity you have because you've already picked where all of your lighting goes. But I actually really like how the soft edge works on these cast shadows. Yeah, I'll brighten up that highlight a little bit. But yeah, actually, I like that crown. I think that works. Okay, so now we've done everything we can with duotone color. The problem is, if I look at black, you want to make sure that your soft edge doesn't bleed beyond your line art. And it doesn't look like mine does anywhere, but just to be sure, what I can do is go to my black bread, which is at the top, use my magic wand with contiguous, select around the black line art, right? And then move that selection down to my soft edged layer, and then delete. And if any of it spilled beyond my outside edge, that would clean it up and tighten it back up. All right, so now I have it nice and crisp. And this might be the finish that you want. If this is the finish you want, you're going to turn off all your background layers, save it as a PNG, and put it into your assignment as your free-floating finished illustration. I'm in the wrong section. Yep. So, how can we push it further still? Well, this is all in assignment 5. Oh, I was in the right place. Oh, wrong class. What's going on? So if we look at assignment 5, we can see where we can push it beyond just soft edge duotone with my little lemon example. So there's a lot to digital coloring, which is why I give you that exhaustive explanation. I also give you several mentorship presentations and some professional examples, all which deal with different ways to mess with your digital coloring. So what's next? What I call special effects. These are the things you do beyond just duotone. The first is full spectrum. Full spectrum can look really gaudy. And when digital coloring started in the late 90s on most images, it got overused a little bit. And this is an example, a past student example where it did get overused a little bit. Full spectrum color allows you to use any colors within your local color. It's kind of a Fauvist expressionist technique, right? So you can have purple in your pinks, and you can have greens in your oranges, right? Now it can be done very effectively when it's subtle. So if you notice Wonder Woman here, again, the primary colors, her skin tones now have yellow and pink and purple in them. They are not just lights and darks of pink like we've seen before. That's full spectrum. We see here purples, yellows, oranges, pinks, all in the skin tones. We see the pinks and the yellows and the purple in her robe. Like basically every color is everywhere in full spectrum. We see it here, just duotone soft-edged on Wonder Woman herself, but on the Hydra that she's fighting, that's all full spectrum. You see oranges in the greens, in the yellows. All the colors kind of bleed into each other. In here, we can see full spectrum. This is still subtle because we know Hellboy is red, but that red has oranges in it. That red has some yellows in it. It has some kind of subtle purples in it. You can see how the shadows of the shirt here are bluish, while the highlights are yellowish, on and on and on. And then there's less subtle, where the colors really shift. Now, when you use fuller color spectrums, you tend to want to use thinner line art, because having really detailed and kind of gestural thick to thin line art along with full color spectrum is just too much. It's just overdone. So let's see what full spectrum might look like. And full spectrum means you can just paint what you want, basically, right? So if I want to push this further, I'm going to use a gray background. I'm going to now take it from my soft edge duotone, which is normal at 100%, but it is combined with what's underneath it, right? So now I'm going to do another combined layer, turning off my background. And I'm going to say Option, Layer, Merge Visible. And now I'm going to call this layer Full Spectrum. So these are all different toppings on the sandwich. Now on the Full Spectrum layer, how can I mess with that? I'm going to do it, instead of painting in like random colors in different places, soft-edged or hard-edged, what I'm going to do is actually use layer styles to play with full spectrum. This is a very easy way to do it. Remember, this is my combined color layer. So all the color is here. What I'm going to do is double-click on the layer to open up layer styles and fill it all with a gradient. And if I want really full spectrum, I can blend any color into all the colors, and that makes it full spectrum. Or I can really choose kind of crazy gradients, like iridescence. Or if I really want to go nuts, I can even create my custom gradients. These are some I've loaded in. Like maybe these, right? And then I'm going to play with that spectrum. I'm going to make it linear, and I'm going to play with the scale of it. So I'm going to reverse it, and I'm going to play with the angle of it. So maybe something like that. And now, here's the trick. How do I blend it into my existing colors? I'm going to play with the opacity of it. Right? At zero opacity, it's like it's not even there. But as I take this opacity up, it blends into all the existing colors. So now there's not only yellow, but there's also pinks, and there's also blues. You can kind of see that full spectrum affecting everything, even the wing. Now the other thing that's fun is that looks a little heavy-handed to me, so I'm going to go to the blending mode for this, and instead of normal, I'm going to try things like pin light. And you see how that can affect it. Soft light. It will let certain things come through and other things not. And you can see how that changes it. So this is more subtle duotone, or subtle full spectrum. And you see how it goes from like gray to green to lighter. I can increase that. Now I have to decide, do I like the soft light, or do I like the pin light? Or maybe I don't need to choose. I can duplicate it, and I can change it, and then compare. So that's soft light. Let's try this one as pin light. I'm going to take it down. I think I like that. It's hard. Actually, I think I like this one, option paralysis. And then I can blend them into each other, because really anything goes as long as your black line art is on the top. And maybe this one I now set to dissolve to get that texture, and then layer it in. You see? Subtle and beautiful. So that's how you would finish it off with full spectrum. But let's keep going. That's full spectrum. The next special effect is what's called color holds. And that is if there is a place in your design where you don't want a black outline. So this is another reason I use Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has a golden lasso. In our previous examples, Wonder Woman's golden lasso was outlined with black. Notice, black outline. Notice black